Let's go to Singapore, starting with a BART ride to San Francisco Airport. We got through TSA surprisingly and luckily very quick, less than 10 minutes, so we browsed the duty-free cosmetics near our gate as we waited for our flight. Our flight is United Airlines 1 on a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. As we assumed it would almost be a 17-hour flight, and it was a late flight out at 10:45 p.m., we got a very overpriced muffaletta which had Italian meats, cheese, olive tapenade with the Italian vinaigrette served on herb bread. It was a tasty sandwich but not worth $16.68. Crazy airport pricing. We got exit aisle seats for our long flight to Singapore, which is great for stretching our legs out, whether it be while standing or sitting. Actual flight time was 15 hours and 37 minutes and estimated to arrive early in Singapore Changi Airport at 6:23 in the morning. To get ready for our departure, we tried Max silicone earplugs for the first time after reading it's great for preventing the annoying and sometimes painful ear pressure, or airplane ear, during takeoffs and landings when the cabin pressure changes. It worked great in preventing airplane ear and it blocks out lots of noise too if you're planning to sleep on the plane. You can get your own silicone earplugs through the link in the video description. We each took 2 earplugs, one for each ear. Roll each one in the palm of your clean hands into a ball. After it's in a ball shape, you press it into your ear to seal it from the effects of the pressure and making your own comfortable and custom shaped earplug. Simple as that. After we got to cruising altitude, we took it off and put it back in the container to use again during landing, ready to go again since it's already in the shape of the inside of our ears. As we were in the exit aisle, our entertainment and information monitor was not on the back of the seat in front of us, as there was none, but attached to our seats, which we had to pull out. First, you press the lock latch, then lift the attachment bar holding the monitor. After lifting it up to its max, with a little force, turn the monitor to face you, then it'll turn on automatically. For this flight, it includes 2 meals and a light snack for the long flight which rides into the darkness. Here's a tip. If you're still hungry after eating your meal, you can ask for another serving, assuming there's extra. It's likely any of the food which isn't served during meal service will be thrown away after the flight lands, so there's no shame in asking for more. The food gets thrown away due to various food and health regulations, especially when you're going from one country to another where each country has their own different regulations. Another tip, as we were landing in Singapore a little after 6 a.m., to avoid jet lag we didn't sleep until after a light snack was served, around the halfway point of our flight. If you have your own entertainment electronic device, there's a USB-A slot on the monitor for you to charge it as well as a universal charger outlet under your seat. To listen to the entertainment on the monitor, you will need to plug in a wired headphone/earphone. Free earphones are provided for those who need it. There's lots of entertainment to keep you awake if you also want to stay up to avoid jet lag in Singapore. To keep you entertained for a long flight, there's lots of movies to watch, from classics to recent releases, and even films from outside the US. A newer option for entertainment are podcasts you can listen to, which may help you to fall asleep on the flight if you're the type to listen to something to fall asleep to like I do. There's various TV shows to watch for kids and adults, including HBO specials like Friends the Reunion, which I enjoyed watching. Here's a tip I learned from a flight attendant. If you have problems with your touchscreen monitor not reacting to your touch, you first put your finger on the top right corner, drag your finger on the screen to the top left corner, and then drag it down to the bottom left-hand corner. You'll repeat this another 2 times and it should fix the touch response, which they said usually happens when liquid is on the screen. Our first meal was served 42 minutes after takeoff. The food is for economy class and I chose the chicken quinoa. It also comes with a sweet vinegar lentil salad, bread, and lemon sorbet. The cheese on top of the chicken quinoa was nicely melted, chunks of chicken here and there, and the sauce was tasty. The salad did make you chew a little more due to the lentils, so it felt more substantial when eating it despite its size. The bread was cold and so was the butter, but I ate bites of bread along with the hot quinoa, so it helped. The sorbet was a nice way to end the meal as it was quite refreshing with the lemon flavor. Although you actually do need to end your meal with it as it's quite hard when the meal is served, so you need to let it melt a little anyways. Underneath the sorbet lid is an attached spoon which you'll need to break off to use properly. The mid-flight snack was served 7 hours and 46 minutes into the flight. It was a turkey and cheese sandwich which was served cold, which would have been better served warm of course, along with a small serving of pretzels and chocolate M&Ms. The sandwich was okay, nothing special about it, though it was a lot more bread than expected, so you will be chewing for a bit. The last meal was breakfast served 14 hours and 10 minutes into the flight. I got the sausage, potato, and egg scramble topped with melted cheese and red bell peppers. The sausage was flavorful and the eggs were soft. The croissant on the side was quite cold, but I did the same trick of eating it warmer by eating it together with the scramble. Another option was French toast, which was also quite tasty, though not as substantial as the scramble. The pineapples and grapes were quite juicy, not sour, and refreshing, a great way to end the meal before we land in Singapore. Our plane landed in Terminal 2, but we needed to start in Terminal 3, so we headed there, which you can look forward to seeing in our next Singapore vlog. Now for our trip back to San Francisco Airport from Changi. Our flight was United Airlines 2 on a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, which also departed from Terminal 2. What's interesting about Changi is there's no main airport security to be funneled through to scan your carry-on and take off your shoes at, but it's done at each individual gate where your plane departs, and it's done quick as passengers slowly make their way to the gate so there's no long line. This was after customs, which was also quick, and I wish other airports could implement it as it saves so much time of not having to wait in long lines to get through security. As we were seated in the middle of the plane going back to SFO, besides our silicone earplugs, we also took out our everlasting footrest to hang over the meal tray for the long 15-hour flight. Having the footrest really helps on flights, short or long, as it lets you stretch your legs out and keep your feet off the ground, giving you a pseudo first-class feeling, or Polaris in the case of United Airlines. I like that it's reinforced on the bottom to keep the hammock from slouching down, and it has a divider in the middle to give each foot its own footrest. It rolls up when you're not using it, and it does take up some space in your carry-on, but it's worth it for my comfort, especially on a 15-hour flight. To prevent constantly standing up and reaching into the overhead compartment to grab something small that we needed during the flight, and to keep our footrest area clear, we hang a bag with our essentials on the seat in front of us using hero clips. They're strong aluminum carabiner clips which can also become hooks, which we use to hang our essential bags off of. The clips don't take up too much space, are lightweight, and can support up to 60 pounds, which is quite useful as our phones and essentials which we stored in the bag can add up in weight. Our flight leaves Singapore at 8:45 AM and estimated to land at 8:47 AM the same day at San Francisco, a 15-hour and 2-minute flight. As this was a daytime flight, we were served drinks and pretzels 33 minutes into the flight. I got a Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer, which is included for free, like a can of Coca-Cola. At 1 hour into the flight, the first meal was served and I got the chicken and rice. The flavor was a little too salty and spicy, so not too tasty overall. On the side was a cold dinner roll and a refreshing zucchini salad. The salad had cilantro in it, which I don't like, but as it was refreshing and had a tasty dressing, I didn't mind it as much as I normally would. It was disappointing not getting the lemon sorbet again, but rather a packet of Oreos. As you can see, I still had the first beer and asked for a second to drink along with the meal. 8 hours into the flight, we got the mid-flight snack, which was a teriyaki chicken ciabatta sandwich served with a blueberry muffin and a Kit Kat bar. The chicken was actually pretty substantial inside when compared with the ciabatta, and it had a small piece of lettuce and tomato too, which made it refreshing to go along with the sweet and salty teriyaki chicken. The blueberry muffin was tasty and wasn't dry, and it was an interesting choice to serve with the sandwich. Carbs and more carbs. The last breakfast meal was served 13 hours and 40 minutes into our 15-hour flight. It was surprisingly fried rice with an almond cookie on the side. The fried rice was tasty and filling, though a little oily. The almond cookie tasted like an almond cookie. I would have preferred getting fruit rather than a cookie. Hope you enjoyed watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you! Check out our other videos of our adventures in Singapore.